The next iPad mini might be Apple's most unexpectedly bold update in years, and it all comes down to how it makes sound. According to Bloomberg, Apple's experimenting with a completely new kind of speaker system for the iPad mini 8 that doesn't even use speaker holes. Yep, no holes, no grills, just a clean slab of aluminium and glass. Then how does the sound come out, you may ask? Well, the company's apparently exploring a vibration-based audio system that turns a tablet's own body into a speaker. The idea is that instead of traditional drivers pushing air through tiny holes, the iPad would literally vibrate its surface to create sounds. Think of it as your screen doing karaoke. It's similar to the acoustic display tech Huawei's used in the past, and what Sony's been using on its OLED TVs. The entire display is a speaker. That means fewer openings for dust and water to sneak in, so improved water resistance is on the cards too. In practice, Apple could attach little actuators or exciters to the chassis or the display itself, making different parts of the screen vibrate independently for stereo sounds. Imagine watching a film and the dialogue actually sounds like it's coming from the characters' mouths on screen. That's basically how Sony pitches its version, and honestly, if Apple nails the execution, that could be a surprisingly immersive way to experience content, even without headphones. There are a few trade-offs though. Bass performance tends to suffer when you're turning a flat panel into a speaker. Physics is a cruel mistress. Sony had to add subwoofers behind its TVs to fill out the low end, and Apple might need to do something similar or just lean heavily on digital signal processing. Touching the screen can also dampen certain vibrations, but if anyone's going to find a clever workaround, it's Apple. Probably through grip detecting sensors that adjust the vibration pattern in real time. Now the fun part here is imagining the marketing. You just know that Apple is going to call it something fancy like spatial surface audio or liquid resonant sounds. Either way, the big win is durability. Removing the speaker holes would make the iPad mini far more resistant to the elements, and since the current model doesn't have an official IP rating at all, this is going to be a massive upgrade. Microphone holes will likely stay because people still need to talk and record things, but with proper seals, this whole thing becomes much more robust. And honestly, I feel like Apple is using the Mini as a testing bed. If this works well, you can bet it'll come to more mainstream products, especially the iPhone. Of course, this all lines up nicely with what we've been hearing about the iPad mini 8 being more than just a spec refresh. Alongside the new audio system, it's expected to use OLED for the first time on a non-Pro iPad, making it both visually and acoustically unique. And if Apple pulls this off, better water resistance, OLEDs, and that holeless speaker setup, the Mini might actually quietly become the most futuristic mini tablet in Apple's entire range. Let's talk more about the big shiny OLED elephant in the room. For context, the iPad mini has been using LCD panels since forever. Perfectly fine, but if you've ever compared it to the iPhone Pro or the iPad Pro, you know it looks like looking at a cake through a foggy window. What a weird comparison, but anyway, OLED is like finally getting that cake in 8K high resolution with extra sprinkles on top, deeper blacks, richer colors, better contrast, better response times, basically everything that makes your eyes go wow when you watch anything. Apple's reportedly been testing these OLED panels extensively. Samsung's likely supplying them, but Apple's been putting them through the ringer. Color calibration, brightness, longevity, and burn-in protection. You know the drill. Apple doesn't just slap any random off-the-shelf OLED into their products. It has to be perfect and optimized for that specific device. And given how tiny the iPad mini is, even small improvements make a huge difference. Imagine holding a small tablet that looks like it's glowing from within, colors popping off the screen, and black levels so deep, it's basically a tiny night sky. That's a dream. Now technically, the iPad mini won't get the dual stack LTPO OLED the iPad Pro enjoys. That means no ProMotion at 120Hz, at least according to current rumors. Single stack LTPS OLED likely caps the refresh rate at 60Hz. Now before everyone starts screaming at Timothy again, I do want to say, I don't believe these rumors. The iPhone 17 just got 120Hz, so surely that's a sign 60Hz devices are going to be axed very soon. Sure, the base products in each category could stay at 60, so for example the base iPads, but the mid-tier products will likely gain 120Hz. It makes sense. If the iPhone 17 has ProMotion, why can't the iPad mini get it? And so I'm going to go against the rumors on this one. The mini is likely going to get 120Hz. I'm not betting my eyebrows on this, but I'm pretty confident. Screen size is also rumoured to increase slightly from 8.3 inches to around 8.7 inches thanks to slimmer bezels. And let's be honest, we all know the Mini is about portability first. It's supposed to fit easily in one hand and feel like a proper tablet instead of a computer replacement. So if Apple manages to increase the real estate without changing up the form factor drastically, that's going to be a massive win. Slimmer bezels, slightly larger display, and OLED magic, and suddenly you've got a tiny tablet that feels premium and feels like it belongs in 2026 rather than 2019. Now, if you're enjoying this deep dive and you want to keep up with all the latest Apple leaks, make sure you subscribe and tap the hype button. It's the easiest way to support a small channel like mine while never missing the latest leaks, rumors, and analysis. And then there's the A19 Pro chipset. Apple's code confirms the next Mini is going to run on the same A19 Pro we've seen in the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone Air. Built on TSMC's third generation 3nm process, it brings better efficiency, a 16-core neural engine, advanced caching, and an upgraded CPU. Apple claims up to 3 times the peak GPU performance over the current A17 Pro. That means faster gaming, smoother creative workflows, and AI features that don't make a tiny tablet overheat and beg for mercy. The A19 Pro actually comes in multiple variants. The A17 Pro gets the top-end version, the iPhone Air gets a slightly trimmed down version, and the Mini probably will get that version as well. But thanks to the Mini's slightly bigger body, thermal performance can actually make it more efficient under sustained workloads than the iPhone Air. It's basically like putting a sports engine in a tiny hatchback. Oh my god. This is the Ford Fiesta ST of iPads. That's a pretty cool car. Now RAM is getting a bump to 12 gigs, which is huge for a small tablet. This isn't just about multitasking, it's about giving Apple's AI-driven features, or Apple Intelligence as they call it, room to breathe. Expect better on-device AI processing, smarter multitasking, and a tablet that can handle the next several years of iPadOS updates without feeling dated. Even if OLED and water resistance steal the headlines, the combination of A19 Pro and 12 gigs of RAM makes the Mini a serious powerhouse. Back to the display for a second, because let's face it, this is the reason most people care about this refresh. OLED isn't just slightly better, it fundamentally changes how you experience the device. Dark mode finally becomes actually dark. Colors actually pop instead of looking slightly washed out. Watching a film on the go suddenly feels cinematic. And because each pixel lights up individually, battery efficiency improves as well. You can binge longer without reaching for the charger. It's the upgrade everyone has been waiting for. As for timing, rumors say it could launch in 2026. Exactly when in 2026? Well, I was initially thinking it could launch in the spring alongside the iPad Air, but apparently the Air's not getting OLED next year, so the cheaper iPad Mini's getting OLED first? That's a bit puzzling, but Gurman tells us this, and why am I going to go against the words of the mighty Gurman? So yeah, if this happens, I don't see Apple launching this shiny new, amazing iPad Mini alongside a very boring, stale iPad Air with a slightly faster chipset. So maybe we'll see the Mini in September instead, alongside the new iPhones. Some analysts have also said the OLED upgrade could slip into 2027, meaning Apple might give us a chip upgrade first with the existing body, and then give us a display upgrade later. Historically though, the Mini has had long gaps between updates. 3 years between the iPad Mini 6 and 7, and that was literally a chip upgrade. So it's a waiting game. It's really hard to predict when they're going to drop this. But if OLED, water resistance, and A19 Pro arrive together next year, that's going to be a serious upgrade. Design-wise, don't expect a radical overhaul. Flat edges, touch ID in the power button, lightweight body, all that remains. Slimmer bezels and a slightly bigger display due to OLED make it feel more modern without losing the one-handed usability that makes the Mini unique. Plus the chassis could get thinner because Apple's obsessed about making their products razor thin and losing a bit of that excess weight. And yes, Apple Pencil Pro support stays, meaning the Mini remains perfect for note-taking, drawing, and quick creative work. Magic keyboards? Probably not. It's too cramped for a keyboard. This is still a portable tablet, not a laptop replacement. Now connectivity should see an upgrade. I'm expecting this to bring the N1 and the C1X, or whatever newer versions of that we have next year, so the C2 and the N2, I guess. But anyway, we should see Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, Type-C remains, Thunderbolt likely won't come down to this, that's probably still going to be a Pro exclusive, but regardless, Type-C is nice to have. So should you buy now or wait? Well guys, I'm gonna be honest, I think the combination of OLED A19 Pro and water resistance might make this worth holding out for. Just be ready for a higher starting price, because Gurman specifically says we should expect a price increase of at least $100. So $599 could be the new price for this. That is a bit pricey for a small tablet, so yeah, just brace yourself for the price. But honestly, this iPad mini feels like the perfect balance between portability, performance, and premium design. OLED satisfies that finally itch, water resistance makes it practical, and the A19 Pro ensures it keeps up with whatever you throw at it. Uncle Tim is feeding us good people. I don't know why I just called Tim Cook my uncle, that's a bit weird. I'm just some Sri Lankan dude in the UK. But anyway, this is the unicorn iPad mini everyone has been waiting for. Now I want to hear from you guys. Would you wait for this OLED waterproof iPad mini or grab the current A17 Pro model at a discount? Because remember, that's going to be hundreds of dollars cheaper than this $599 iPad mini. Or are you just excited about the new display performance, or just finally being able to splash water on your tablet anytime you want, because I don't know why you're doing that. Anyway, drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying these leaks and deep dives, don't forget to subscribe and hit the hype button below. It really helps a small channel like mine reach more Apple fans and ensures you never miss another iPad mini rumor breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.